Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. This is your host, the Barkeep, bringing you podcast number 26 here at the Tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. Tonight, Raptor, you're here with me again, aren't you?
Yeah, I suppose I'm here. Well, hold on. Let me make sure.
Yeah, make sure this is no dream sequence or anything like that. So Raptor's here joining me, and for episode 26 tonight, we are doing what we call the Ranger Dream Team.
Yes, this sprang up the other day. I was having a discussion with Barkeep here about watching Once a Ranger, and so he suggested that we make our own dream team, so here we are.
Yeah, so basically what we are is we will take the role of Sentinel Knight, or the current equivalent, whatever, because this is out of continuity. And we are building our own Ranger teams, veteran Ranger teams, as you will. That's what they're called Once a Ranger. And we're just going to tell you guys our picks on who we would bring out and why we chose them. And what we tried to go ahead and do is we didn't stay to any hard and fast rules. I mean, we kind of have a healthy mix from each era.
Yeah, originally we discussed having rules like you had to have at least one Disney Ranger, one Saban Ranger, even one Neo Saban Ranger. But on the other hand, we just ended up having a good mix.
Yeah, but what we tried to go ahead and do, and I know at least for my list, but if yours is a little bit different, Raptor, that's fine, is like tried the different color rolls like a red, blue, yellow, a pink/white female, something like that.
Yes,
that's what I at least tended to do.
Yeah, and although there is one where we set down no repeats.
Yeah,
no color repeats.
Yeah, because like I told him, I didn't want a Forever Red situation where we got 5 Red Rangers and all that. But we also did pick a 6th Ranger, so that kind of opened it up a little bit for, at least in my case. But I'd like to see how that opened up for you. So again, rules are just no repeat colors, 6 Rangers, and that's pretty much it. So Raptor, I'm going to have you go first, and I want you to first name to me all your Rangers, and then we will talk about them as a group and then as individuals. So go ahead.
All right, so heading up my team in the red suit is Carter Grayson, Lightspeed Rescue.
Okay.
In the blue spot, we have Madison from Mystic Force. Yellow, we have Kira from Dino Thunder. Pink, we have Jin from Time Force. Black, we have Jake from Megaforce. And then I have 2 6 Rangers, so I guess, well, 6 and a 7, mostly because I consider these 2 a unit. It would be really strange to have one without the other, and that's Jim and Jimma, the Gold and Silver Rangers from RPM.
Now, I will say this. I don't think a single one of your guys is going to be on my list, which would be like a first that we've done. We don't have a similar character on each other's list, which is good. So let me take a quick look at this. And it seems to me that you definitely have a healthy mix of the 3 standard Ranger eras. The Zordon, the Saban, the Disney, and then the what you call Neo Disney.
No, Neo Saban.
Or Neo Saban. Yeah, I've never heard anybody call it that, but that is pretty interesting. So let's kind of look at these as a team, because I can definitely see the way you went. You got your intelligent characters, you got the bold leader and all that. Let's go through the different ones. Okay. All right. Let's start with the 6 Ranger. Start at the bottom. Why Jim and Jimma specifically, other than Jimma being incredibly hot?
Well, for the reason I put those 2 is mostly tactical. Those 2 are the ones you want on your side when you have to get some damage done. Especially
when they want to blow things up.
Yes. So, I'm just if I'm having the Zangiak or whatever Vrock's alien brothers forces are going to be, sending an army towards me, who do I want on my Ranger team? I want Jim and Jimma on my team.
Now, the way I look at it is like they're pretty much on the same intelligence level, if not smarter than, say, Dr. K. Right. That's why they were in Alphabet Soup in the first place, right? So not only do you have characters who are experts in essentially demolition and explosives and whatnot, they're also super intelligent.
Yeah, when you get them to stop going off with their explosion eyes, they would be very useful and would probably work well with the rest in that aspect.
Okay, so I think that's a good pick. As we all know about my standing with RPM, but I do like these characters. They are pretty good. Now, why Jake from Megaforce? Because that is very recent. We've only been with him, 10 episodes, I think.
Well, yeah, so, going off of that, I found, first of all, Jake's the only character in Megaforce I like. I wanted to like Gia because I think Ciara Hanna is gorgeous. But,
yeah, I don't want to like her, though.
yeah, no, the character I can't stand.
Yes.
And really, the only person from Megaforce that I like is Jake, and I genuinely like him.
He is the only fun one there.
Yeah, and
much like Mike was in Samurai.
And also, I like having a fun character. I wanted my team to have someone fun. And in fact, it was either going to be him or one of the goofy Green Rangers. I almost gave the spot to Xander, but you can see why I gave the spot to someone else higher on the list. And also, he fulfills what TV Tropes calls the big guy of the team.
Because he's the strong one with his axe and all that and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, see.
So you got the Bruiser, I think they call it in RPGs.
So it's TV Tropes sums it up as the hero is the lead singer, the Lancer, or really in Rangers most of the time, is the second in command, the lead guitar. The big guy is drums, the smart guy is keyboard, and the chick is tambourine. But doesn't that sum the roles up perfectly?
Well, I'm not that into music, but I can get it. I can look at it like the Brady Bunch, or was it the Partridge Family was the one that had the tambourine, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and they lived on a bus. I don't know. Okay. I think I get that. And, I'm looking at Jen here. Definitely understand why you put her on the team. Question here is, and we'll get to Carter in a minute, but would you make Jen the leader, or would you make Carter the leader?
I would have Jen as the second in command. I thought she functioned well as the second in command once everyone accepted Wes in the Red Ranger role.
Okay.
And really, I think it would take more than just Carter alone to keep Jim, Jimma, and Jake in line.
Yeah, that does. You seem to give your characters a handful of problems behind the lines, in a sense.
And really, I think Jen is the greatest Pink Ranger. Out of all the Pink Rangers, I think she was the best character. As for who fulfills the role best, that's still arguable. And also, my blue doesn't fit the second in command role.
Yeah, let's skip over to Madison real quick. I found that to be the most, well, other than Jake, that's probably the second most curious choice on the list here, because let's be honest, we both watched Linkara's review of Mystic Force and, what he had to say, and I'm going to be honest, there isn't much to say about her except she tries to be a filmmaker with a handy cam.
That, and she's arguably the heart of the Mystic Force team.
I agree with that. She is the most compassionate. It's just that she's sporadically compassionate if you think about it.
Yeah, and also, tactical reasons, I wanted a Mystic Force Ranger.
Because of how powerful they are and all that.
Yeah, and I figured my team needed a heart, and wow, I just realized I have 3 chicks on this team, but no, 4. I have 4.
Wait, 1, 2, 3. Wow, yeah, I did not even realize that, but so what?
First of all, but out of all these ones, she's the most feminine because she's more of a Pink Ranger than Jen is.
Well, I would agree with that. If you go by the standard set by Kimberly and then Catherine and all that kind of stuff.
So, basically, I wanted a Mystic Force Ranger, and I really liked that she was the compassionate one of the Mystic Force crew. Okay.
And I'm looking at your Yellow Ranger here, and besides attractiveness, why Kara? Because I'm going to be honest, I just don't see her as being very valuable. Apparently Sentinel Knight did, but you give me your reason.
Sentinel Knight thought she was valuable because she was, in the fandom, to the extent of my knowledge, one of the more popular Dino Thunder Rangers.
Well, yeah, that's...
My personal reason... Yes, it's almost entirely because I think she's one of the hottest Rangers.
Well, no problem with that because I have at least 1, maybe 2 Rangers that fit that on my list, so I'm not going to give you grief about it. But I just find it odd that, Kara, because again, like what they did in Once a Ranger is that they did pick the most popular from the last 4 generations, plus Adam, who is very popular in his own right.
Right.
Because there was no rhyme or reason for what Sentinel Knight did. We're trying to put some rhyme and reason to ours.
Yeah, and really, Adam was almost on my list, but then I had to stop myself from recreating the Once a Ranger team.
Yes.
And so I figured I would rather have Kira than have Adam.
Okay.
So yeah, it's also in a fight, I believe her flying would be very useful.
That and the Terror Scream, which I think is her most useful weapon.
Yeah, so on a tactical reason, that's why I like her, and I love the character. It's one of my favorite from the Disney era. And
I definitely understand Carter. He almost made my list of top 5 Red Rangers, as I probably said before. But what is it about him that got the top of your leader Red Ranger spot?
I simply think he's one of the best leaders in the history of Power Rangers. He stepped right up to the role. He's brave and selfless, and personally, I realize Jason fits those qualities too, but I just feel that if I'm dealing with a true world-ending threat, that I would rather have Carter. I'd rather have a member of Lightspeed Rescue leading the force to save the world than Jason. And see, I think that Jason and Carter are the 2 best leaders. Well, Jason, Carter, and Tommy are the 3 best leaders out of all the teams. And maybe I just avoided Jason because I didn't want to fall into I didn't want to be a nostalgia fag.
Well, if that's what you want to go ahead and call it. But yeah, I'll tell you this. Difficulty with the list is trying to get mixes in there, but you realize
without doing what everyone expects.
Yeah, but it's also, and I'll talk about this when I get to my list, is about characters who work well together, which is why you had to put Jim and Jim on there, because they work better as a team than they do individually.
That's why I put Jin on there, because Carter's going to need a little help keeping the rest of my crew in line. Okay. So, overall, yeah, that's a lot of girl power in there. And really ended up being unintentional. I ended up with 3 on accident. I think that was mostly because I originally wasn't going to have a Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
And so I wanted 2 chicks, so I stuck in Madison into the blue role. And because Kira was the first one I put down for sure. Mm-hmm. And then Jen just came in because I realized I needed a strong second in command. So yeah, this is probably the only team I've ever seen where the girls outnumber the guys. 4 girls, 3 guys. Personally, I have no problem with that, but I wouldn't sell toys as well.
Yeah, not unless you're going down that pink aisle at Toys R Us. Well, Raptor, any other things you want to say about your list before we move on to mine?
This would make one awesome Zord.
I would like to see the fan fiction that creates that Zord.
Yes. All right, let's see your list now.
Now, I have a concession I'd like to make before I go ahead and get started, or a confession, whatever you want to go ahead and call it. Now, I am a big fan of the Saban era.
Right.
Not a big fan of the Disney era.
Okay.
Not a huge fan of the Neo Saban era. So I am kind of stuck in the past. I thought the first 10 years were probably the best for the Power Rangers.
Arguably so.
That being said, however, I'm looking at my list, and I realize that half of them right now are Disney era Rangers.
Okay.
And I just want to make this point before we kind of move on, is that when doing this, I came to the realization that I think that the Saban era, the first 10 years, had better Ranger teams in the sense that they functioned well as a group and played off each other well, whereas I believe that the Disney era had better individual characters that stood out above the others, while some are just kind of pushed into the background and you don't really remember much about them.
Right.
So, that being said, I just want to explain that because people are going to be like, but Bardkeep, don't you not like the Disney era? I don't, but I do think there are some good aspects of it, and 3 of those good aspects did end up on my list.
Certainly. All right, let's see it.
So here's my list, and please save your applause for later and your comments. Okay. And I'm not going to by roll, I'm just going to list them. Flynn, RJ, Rose, Trini, Jason, and Tommy. Now let's start at the beginning here. And actually tell me what your comments are first before we get started. Because I know what you're going to say, but I would like to hear it.
Well, it's a lot of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but knowing you as well as I do, I'm not that surprised.
And I'm not trying to harp on the nostalgia and all that, but I do have specific reasons for why I've done this. And
I'm looking at your list, and I see that you put Jason in red and Tommy in the 6th role, which is funny because those two function equally as well in both.
And the reason I did that is I think Tommy, first of all, is most powerful when he's a 6th Ranger and more effective.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he makes a good Zeo Ranger. Made a pretty lousy Red Turbo Ranger.
That's because everyone sucked in Turbo.
But he was a great Green Ranger, White Ranger. Those are the roles he's most known for. And that's when he, I would arguably say, was at his peak performance. Okay. I'm not even counting his Black Ranger role in Dino Thunder because, let's be honest, Tommy was not the badass he really should have been in that show.
No, he was the mentor and the spotlight was given to the kids.
Exactly. All right, so that being said, I'm putting Tommy as the other, either green or white. Either is acceptable in my book because they're both. I mean, again, I've talked about his leadership qualities and all that, and how great he is, and I think he would be good in that spot. I would make him the leader of the team over Jason, and I'll tell you why. The reason I put Jason on the list, I put him as Red Ranger because that is his iconic form. You know, but Tommy and Jason are a great duo. They work well together.
Yes.
So the same logic you use for Jim and Jim, I use for Tommy and Jason. That's why I put them on here. Because they are, I guess, the Batman and Robin of Power Rangers in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. I guarantee you that if you wanted to, you can do an entire series just Tommy and Jason by themselves as crime fighters or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You know, or just martial arts, whatever and stuff. Because I think those two guys alone could accomplish a lot. And I thought that if I was going to put one or the other, I really had to put both in there. I didn't want to go the route you were doing and put 7 Rangers on there because I really couldn't figure out who I would have in that extra spot.
Right.
So as much as it seems like I'm harping on the original Mighty Morphin, saying those guys are awesome and all that, really, they are awesome. But again, the main role is, I think Tommy's great, and Jason just makes him better for being there.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Co-leaders.
Yeah. Now I will say this about Trini, plain simple, it's Trini. Everybody knows my thoughts on Trini and how I feel about her and all that.
Yes, we know you have yellow fever.
Besides that, I just like her on the team, like how you like Kara and all that.
Right.
I think in both our cases, because I realized doing this list, there are some pretty weak Yellow Rangers in Power Rangers canon. There really isn't that standout Yellow Ranger. Personality-wise, character-wise, you know, it's really kind of iffy.
Which is funny, because when I think of who's the best Yellow Ranger character aside from Kira, I think of Chip.
Yeah, I mean, you can get Chip in there. I think he's good. Yeah, but I just think overall Yellow Rangers are weak, so it's really hard for me to pick.
They often blur into the background as a tomboy
like
foil.
Kelsey. Look at Kelsey. Does anybody really remember Kelsey other than they think she's a lesbian?
Yeah, and
I mean, nobody can. I mean, what was her job before she was Yellow Ranger? You remember? She mountain climbed. That was the first thing we saw. She was an action adventure sports.
Yeah,
person.
everyone. Well, yeah, I guess. Well, really, there were only 2 people on Lightspeed Rescue who were in some kind of rescue profession beforehand. Yeah,
but the point is that, again, the Yellow Rangers kind of blend into the background, but she stands out for not only being the first, not only for the real life events and all that, but I really believe she is the most beautiful of all the female characters we've ever had on Power Rangers.
All right.
So, and that's just my little personal, no real rhyme or reason, just that's how it is. And
hey, I mean, that's my justification for Kira on my list, so.
Exactly. Now, this is a surprise. Flynn.
Yeah, see, you spelled his name wrong.
Yes. I can't spell anything right, nor pronounce Japanese right, as most people have been kind to tell me in the comments section. Okay, so Zord mechanic, the guy who's good with his hands, who can build things. First of all, we've already stated how much I like Flynn's personality.
Right.
He's a poor man's Miles O'Brien. who, by the way, is one of my favorite characters on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. Wow, I never stopped to think how similar those two are.
And think about it for a second, Jimma could really be Keiko.
Oh, God. I'm starting to wonder if that was an intentional thing on the RPM creators' part. 'Cause thinking about it, they already copied the Wolverine and Cyclops relationship.
Yes. And the Terminator Salvation and all that good stuff. But again, he's a poor man's Miles O'Brien, which is awesome. I love his character. And the thing is I could put like somebody like Damon up there or something, but the thing about Flynn is he was able to do more with less, I think. That he is really working for scrap. He's working in a garage. He's not actually working in a Zord lab or anything like that. Not that he actually, I mean, Dr. K primarily did the stuff with the Zords and all that, but for what he was given and the stuff that he did invent and work on, I do think he's really good. He doesn't fill my smart person role and all that kind of stuff, but as my mechanic, the hard worker, the average man and all that, that's the character I really wanted.
And tactically, he's a good one to have on your team.
And how so on that? Because I really think about tactically.
No, I was thinking tactically just because of his... Really, because looking at your list, you really don't have a Zord mechanic.
Well, I kind of have... Yeah, I mean, he would be the closest, I would say. Because, I mean, Billy was like the Zord mechanic in Mighty Morphin, but I would say, and this may be blasphemous, but I like Flynn more than I like Billy.
I really don't like Billy. I thought he was kind of a whiny girl.
In the beginning, but he got better around Zeo.
I thought he was just as bad in Zeo. He was always moping because he couldn't be a ranger anymore. It's like, yeah, you could have. Tanya offered her slot up, but then again, you would have had to have a costume with a skirt, so maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, or they could have given it to Rocky. That would have been more appropriate. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. For my next one, I picked RJ from Jungle Fury.
Okay.
The RJ was like the only good thing I liked about that season. And you know how much I love Geiki Ranger, and I really feel Jungle Fury is a watered down version of that. RJ, I think, was the shining spot.
I liked RJ.
Yeah, because he started as the mentor, and he's got these quirky things. And I told you earlier, RJ is a lot like Yoda from Empire Strikes Back. And I say that because Yoda is the mentor character, but in the grand tradition of Joseph Campbell, he comes in an odd form. Like the centaur and the satyrs of Greek mythology. They're half man, half horse, half man, half goat. What are they going to teach me about anything? And then Heracles and all these other heroes are able to learn from them.
Yeah, here we are in Jungle Fury with this stoner-esque, this guy who's probably a stoner, who runs a pizza joint, who's also a kung fu master.
Exactly. I love the idea that it's not what you expect. You don't expect that type of character, that archetype, to be this generational fighter. Because, again, his father, Master Finn, it's something that's obviously passed down from generation to generation. Father teaches child. So he's in the long line of this heritage. And again, what's also great is like when he does become the Wolf Ranger, the Violet Ranger, whatever stupid name they gave him.
I give him props for being the only Violet Ranger up until Kyoryuger.
Whenever that's adapted. But I like how he does become a lot more serious, a lot more focused, because he no longer has to have that facade of like just laying back. They're going to figure it out. He realizes he has to be out there and start doing stuff to help these guys out. His relationship with his father and everything else, I think he was really brought, not to the forefront really, but really brought up to be... I mean, he really should have been the leader. I still don't get this whole thing with Casey and all that.
Oh, they were just playing that. They're just playing that rookie Red Ranger fiddle.
Yeah. But again, RJ, the master of kung fu, a mentor leader to on the team. If you want to put him in that role over Tommy, but I just thought it worked.
Okay, all right. Now we got Rose.
Yes, very beautiful, but she's a Mensa level genius. That's all you really need on the team. I would argue that Rose is perhaps the most intelligent of any of the Rangers ever. More than Billy, more than Kendricks. more than Trip, any of those guys.
I never thought Kendricks was especially intelligent, but...
Well, she was supposed to be the smart person for their group, the scientist and whatnot.
But yes, please continue.
Yeah, I think she is the most intelligent. She's a good fighter. And she developed things. She helped Hartford with a bunch of things in Operation Overdrive. She's got this perky, upbeat personality and all that. And contrary to a lot of people think, I liked Operation Overdrive, and I thought her character is one of the better ones in there. Definitely better than Taizan. Definitely better than Will. But, yeah, I mean, just... There's not much to say. She's super, super intelligent. Most intelligent Power Ranger ever.
That works. And personally, I prefer Ronnie, but maybe that's, again, appearance.
Yeah, but again, Ronnie didn't do much. She's a race car driver, so what does she bring to the table, really?
That's true. That's true. She doesn't bring much. And actually, looking back, I wish I would put Dax on my team.
Dax was fun, yes, I will.
Dax is like out of all the African Americans in Power Rangers.
No, Dax was Asian.
No, wait.
You're thinking of Will.
Will. Wow, I didn't watch enough of this. No, I like Will.
You like Will, the Black Ranger.
Out
okay.
Of all the African American Rangers, he's the one that's the most stereotypically black, and it's hilarious.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, that goes through all of our list. I mean, I'm going to be quite honest. I didn't put too much thought into this because this is more just a fun exercise than it is anything analytical or anything.
No, yeah, certainly. I mean, if we really wanted to sit down and take a few hours, we probably could have deciphered out the best team ever.
And of course, if we were writing an episode for Megaforce or Super Megaforce and we had to bring certain people back, well, this one we invited, this one rejected the poorly written email we sent them.
And this one's really popular with the fans. It'd be weird to fit him in story-wise, but
we'll do it anyway.
Fans would be pissed otherwise.
Yeah, we'll just travel to the future and bring him in here, which the Sentinel Light thing, that's something for another time. But... so yeah, those are our picks. Again, we just kind of came up with them before we came on air here. It's really a mix of what we like personally, a grab bag of characters, if anything, I would say.
Yeah, characters we like personally, our own personal things we like, in the case of Trini and Kira, and sounds like we were both thinking tactically.
Absolutely, and attractiveness, because you got to have that one hot ranger on the team. I think mine ended up with 2.
I mean,
you have. Well, yeah, but
I've got 4.
Yeah, so somebody's bound to find something in there. So Raptor, any final thoughts you want to go ahead and share before we get out of here tonight?
No, I don't know. Looks like we were running on 30 minutes. If you're up for this, want to take a moment to talk about today's Sentai rumors, just because, I said we shouldn't do an entire podcast for that. Let's take a moment to...
Okay, well, everybody, this is something really rare here on the Tavern. This is the bonus feature here at the end of the episode. Yeah. And I don't have the stuff pulled up at the moment.
We'll put a link. We'll put a link in the description.
Yeah, so this is a bonus feature here at the Onyx Tavern. Today's Sentai news, I guess, is what we're going to go ahead and call it.
It's a rumor.
It's a rumor. It's news. It's brand new. We just found out today.
Yeah.
So, Raptor, let's just basically tell everybody what we were told. We don't have the article pulled up in front of us at the moment. However, basically, we've heard more ideas of what's going to happen with the 38th Sentai. And what we're hearing is basically it's going to be a 9-man team that will be focused on police rescue work.
So, in this way, it's kind of like Deca Ranger / SPD meets Go-Go 5 / Lightspeed Rescue.
And what most interestingly is it's said to be on 2 teams. So you like Hurricaneger, Ninja Storm had, so you have 1 team of Rangers and a second team. And maybe since it's 9, maybe they'll go even numbers, so maybe, or maybe it'll be like 3, 3, and 3. Who knows?
That would be cool.
Because the name, now I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's a play in the number 9. What's 9 in Japanese? The number 9?
Go Q.
Q. Okay, so it's Q something Ranger, is what the rumor is right now. So again, it's play on 9 like Dika was play on 10 in Dika Ranger, because there are ultimately 10 Rangers by the end. So yeah, with that news, I don't know if how much of it's related to the original news we had as far as hybrid mecha and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, hybrid mecha and what was it? Battleship in the title.
There was like a lot of this is contradictory. I'll go ahead and point that out. But because we found out there was also a rumor where it said there would be like Battleship Task Force Ranger or something like that, and
which, that could still work with this idea.
Absolutely. You never know.
And really, an animal vehicle hybrid mecha, that could work right into this as well.
I just wonder if it's a military-based thing, because like what we've been saying about like Lightspeed rescue vehicles and cars, because they're simple plain.
It's a military organization.
Exactly. Yeah, that doesn't really fit in with Go Buster, which actually, according to the rumor, it's going to be a darker turn-on like Go Buster was. And I'm really happy about this, because maybe they'll learn for whatever mistakes they had, which I wouldn't say they had many mistakes in Go Buster, but maybe the fans will be more receptive to it now that they've seen this darker
and also,
Sentai.
What I was telling you earlier today, this would work very well with the 5-year formula that I told you about.
Oh, yeah. So as far as it comes darker right after the real lighthearted one.
Yeah, we have our anniversary,
Mm-hmm.
our 3-man something different team.
Yep.
So Go Kaiger.
Yep.
Then Go Busters, the lighthearted Sentai, Kyoryuger, and then the dark Sentai.
Yep.
Just like in the past, how we had Deca Ranger and Shin Kanger. Now we're going to have this rumored to be dark and realistic Sentai.
Absolutely. So I think if the rumors are legitimate and all that, and I hope they are, it seems like it'd be something promising, because I like the idea of having multiple Rangers. And multiple Ranger teams is something that has been played with a little bit, but not fully explored.
Yeah, I see. What happens so often is that, they'll be separate at first, but then by the end, they've just squished everyone together because it's just easier that way.
Yeah, and I don't know, again, how Hurricane worked, but again, with Ninja Storm, it was like, the 10th episode that the Thunder Rangers kind of like joined them and all that.
Right, and think about Go Onger. The Wings were a separate team for a while, but eventually they just drifted in.
Yeah, but that always gets tiresome. If this was something to the regard of, if it is going to go with the idea of rescue, police, and all that, then maybe each team should be, let's assume for the moment it's 9 Rangers, like they say, teams of 3.
Yeah, that'd
be
awesome.
You should have the police, the ambulance, hospital, medical, and then the fire department. It's 3 different precincts that have to work together for certain things.
Heck, you could be like, you could have fire squad, a sea rescue squad,
air rescue squad. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that.
And if we're going to go with the idea of animal vehicle mechas, birds, fish, and other aquatic creatures.
Which, as I said, we need more aquatic vehicles, more battleships and boats and stuff like that.
More things that aren't sharks.
And more things that float.
Yes.
I just don't like the idea. I don't want them fighting against each other.
No,
because I think what it should be, it'd be like, imagine Lightspeed Rescue, but with 3 different branches that all have to work together, but they have clearly defined
departments. They don't have to be antagonists, but they can have tension with each other.
Exactly. And that's fine with me, because if they're going to go the full route like we had suggested once before, 2 teams of Rangers, 1 good and 1 evil, that's fine. But I think if you're going to make them as 1 team...
If they're part of an organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be great if there was a little bit of tension between teams.
Absolutely. And I think that would be the way to go with it. And again, they say there's going to be at least... I mean, with 9 Rangers, you have to assume there's got to be a Yellow Ranger in there.
Yeah.
And they said they're going to have...
Unless they're Kyoryuger during it.
Yeah, unless they're doing that. So, yeah, I kind of like this idea, the rumors. I mean, I think probably we're going to get maybe 5% of this is going to be true by the end. But everybody keeps saying that around this time is when Kyoryuger
the closer you get to the Sentai's premiere, the more likely the rumors are to be true. Because when Kyoryuger last year was being rumored, the first set of rumors, because the first thing we got was the name. Yeah. That was the first thing to be officially confirmed. The first set of rumors was that the mechas would not be dinosaurs,
but prehistoric animals.
Yes. And then that rumor faded out, and then we got the rumors that,
oh no, dinosaurs again.
And that was the one that turned out to be true.
Yeah, and what is it right now? It's September, so
Yeah,
October, November, December. So we've got about 3
also,
months. Yeah.
let's go back a little farther.
Yeah.
When Gokaiger was still airing and the rumors for Go Busters started popping up.
Yeah.
Originally, first we got the name, and then people thought, although this wasn't really a rumor, this was just something people assumed.
Yeah. I know.
But the rumor that was floating was that it would be a supernatural team fighting yokai. You know what yokai are?
Ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just because somebody's like, Go Buster?
Ghostbusters!
And I was like, if you follow that logic, then we should have Tracy the Gorilla on there, you know?
But, and, also, that would just be Toei inviting a lawsuit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't believe those rumors for a minute. I was like, no, these are people just jumping on the name thing. Like, again, if there's like I would say that if what Q, right, which means 9, is that what you said?
Yes.
That I would assume there has to be 9 on there. Now we got Q Ryuger, that's a variation, or is that the same thing pretty much? I mean, we have 9 Rangers right now. We're going to have 10. We have 11 if you count Death Ranger, But
I don't count him because,
movie exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, I would say if the name stays the same, then I will assume that there's going to be 9 Rangers somewhere down the line.
Right, and, I would assume, you're right, I could see it being as 2 teams at first and then, like, a 3rd team drifts in.
Yeah, because I couldn't imagine introducing 9 characters at the start.
Yeah.
Unless they are supporting characters who eventually take up the mantle, which I like that a lot better.
What I could really see happening is a core team of 5.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that 5 is split into 2 teams.
Okay.
But I would see it more like a Kyoryuger situation where the remaining 4 would be filtered in.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. And of course, with Kyoryuger, they're still trying to filter them in, and it's not working as well as I would have hoped and all that. But yeah, that's kind of the rumor that's out here today, and we just got to keep on it. And we'll go ahead and update you guys when we hear something. If we have something significant we want to go ahead and say about it. But again, since we ran a little short today and all that, Raptor, great idea. Let's just add to the video. So this is the bonus.
That, and like I said, I thought it would have been weird to just make a video to jump on a rumor because that's what we did about a week ago.
Yeah, actually, it was more like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
But yeah, basically, we heard a rumor and we jumped on it.
And again, we just talked about what we wanted in Sentai more than the rumor itself, and that's kind of what we're doing here. But that's still fine because again, it's a rumor, and we can play off.
This rumor has a little more to it.
A lot more information, yeah. So, well, we'll see how it is.
Yeah.
But Raptor, let's go ahead and close out here, and I just want to say to all the subscribers out there, in the comments, first of all, give us your all's Dream Ranger team.
Yeah, by all means.
What is what Ranger team would you guys like to go ahead and see? Give us your reasons, and you know what? I love video responses. So guys, why don't you do like a video response? I challenge somebody out there to do a video response and what their Dream Ranger team is, because I'll listen to it.
Yeah, and the first person to suggest the team of all Tommies gets a boot to the head.
Oh yes, yes. Okay, well, again, thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed tonight's podcast. Raptor, thank you for joining us here again.
Always a pleasure.
All right, and everybody have a good evening, and the tavern is now closed.